Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new channel where all I am here to do is deliver no-nonsense guides specifically for Call of Duty Zombies Easter eggs. So, I made this channel specifically to combat the old, outdated guides that half the time are just completely wrong with a lot of these older Zombies maps, and I'm trying to change the game and just make it completely and utterly no-nonsense just for you. You're going to know all what you need to know, and that's all you're going to need to know from me, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Today we're going to be discussing the entire Maxis side of the Easter eggs in the Victis maps for the Super Easter egg inside of Black Ops 2. Now, this is going to include all NavCard locations, all table locations, how to build them, as well as each of the map's Easter eggs for Maxis, and a discussion of the endgame at the end of this video. First things first, all you need to know with the NavCards is that TranZit's NavCard goes into the Paralyze's NavCard table, Paralyze's NavCard goes into Buried's NavCard table, and Buried's NavCard goes into TranZit's NavCard table. That's literally all you need to know. These map icons will glow orange or blue depending on the Easter eggs you have done, and they will ping when you have the right NavCard in them, like TranZit is doing right now. Now, the TranZit one is one of the easier nav cards to grab, because all you have to do is just go out this door next to the bus, and you'll fly down this little back area, and it'll be next to this pile of trash. It'll say, hold up to take nav card. You can't actually see these on the ground, but they have the prompts and the 1 pixel to grab them. Now, the nav card on Paralyze is just down from the spawn room. If you open these two barriers right here, you'll come across, there's the Spire. And then it'll be in your left, it'll say hold F to take nav card on this little crate, or display case I should say. Inside of Buried, you're going to go into the back end of the witch's house, go down here. Don't mind the witches, I mean you really only need to go to this bookshelf. It'll have a prompt, and you can pick up what looks to be a PSP looking thing in the corner there, if that doesn't tell you my age. Obviously on TranZit, the NavCard location is underneath the pylon, which is in between the farm and power, and it's in this cornfield. There's just a little maze you gotta go through to get to it, and there'll be like 1 pixel on the wall that you can add all these parts to, and then I'm going to show you where all 4 parts are. They're gonna be pretty quick, but I'll describe where they are at each point. And the first part is going to be a meteor that's going to be right here. It'll say press F to pick a part, and you will pick up this part. The next part for the NavCard table is a radio, and the radio can either spawn inside of here in the diner, on top of this little cabinet. You'll have to jump to pick it up. The second part location for the radio is inside of Nocturne and Toten. It can spawn on this little leaned over file cabinet here. The third part, which is the electrical box, can either spawn here in farm, if you go up these doors. It'll be on this back wall, or it will be in the back of town, besides this dumpster right here. So the fourth and final part of the NavCard table, which is the wooden board, can either spawn here inside of the tunnel. It'll usually be on this area, this kind of line of stuff by the M16 wall by, and funnily enough it's by a jet gun piece, which we'll cover later. So that's the first location, or it can be here in the power. It'll be on the side right here, right here. You'll see it usually on this box as well. Now, again, the place to build it is here underneath the pylon. You'll take each of the 4 parts one at a time to this little area, add it, and it'll start building the table. And then once you're done, it'll make a completion noise, and it'll say hold F to insert nav card instead of hold F to add part. And once that's done, that stays throughout all of your games now. If you did it by yourself, every solo game you have on TranZit, this will be built, unless you somehow lose your game save data file. But that's not going to happen. So you're pretty much going to have this the rest of your BO2 career. And that's the nice part about it. You only have to build this once. First things first, when it comes to the Maxis side of the TranZit Easter egg, you're only going to need 2 things. You're going to need the EMPs from the box, and you're going to need the turbine. Now, I'm going to show you right now, you're seeing on screen, building the turbine, 3 parts that are in the spawn. You're going to need the actual fan blades, which are on a chair on the right of the workbench. You're going to need the body of the turbine, which is very clearly in the middle, and then you're going to need the little wing on the back side, which is more towards the M14 wall by.
I wonder if this thing might fit the Max, do it!
Some kind of wind machine?
With the first step of any Easter egg, you are essentially going to turn on the power. Now, the power switches parts can be in any of the locations I'm showing on screen right now. You'll see where they are by me shooting the floor. And you're going to need the forks, the power panel, and the hand, which you see in the hand in my game was right there. It could also be over there on that far pipe. But you're going to go up to these three parts, pick them up, and build them at this table. Forks can be on this consoles and panels in the room. And then once you build those three, you're going to simply turn on the power.
I bet that idiot stew licker couldn't do this. I didn't think that was gonna
Now,
work.
during this entire sequence, you're going to see the Avogadro being freed from his little prison inside of the generator. And with that, Maxis is going to talk to you right after this sequence finishes. And then you're going to be able to move on to the next step, which is shutting off the power. Let's take a listen.
I'm not hanging around to see what happens next.
Excellent! You have freed it! But now, you must turn off the power. An active power grid will disrupt all communications between us and make it impossible to accomplish the mission I have for you. Shut down the power.
So you heard him. Let's turn off the power. And that is effectively step 2 of this Easter egg. You'll know the power's off when the lanterns around the map that are glowing green turn off like they just did. And then we can move on to step 3, which is killing the Avogadro underneath the pylon with 2 turbines active in the spots I have just shown on screen. Now, you're going to have to lure him in and spawn the Avogadro, which all you have to do is wait till the storm above you is raging. Your character will make a quote, and then you can kill the last zombie, ending the round and spawning the Avogadro. Now, I will say in the cornfield it is really hard to find this guy. For whatever reason, his programming is very, very janky when it comes to actually moving through the cornfield. So this may take a while for you, but that is a-okay. You'll see him in the corn brush in the fields. If not, go more towards Noctur on Toten. He might have spawned over there too. But then just lead him back to the pylon.
In the world's ugliest sin.
Once he's near the pylon, you're going to want to take your turbines out and place 2 of them next to each other, next to the NavCard table. And then you're going to want to lure the Avogadro underneath the pylon and then EMP him while he's underneath the pylon. Now, as I said, this step can be pretty janky because this guy does not like to move towards you and he likes to just keep shocking you over and over again. But just keep moving around and he'll eventually make his way underneath the pylon more towards the NavCard table, and then you can EMP him. Now, once you kill the Avogadro, Maxis will say you need more energy, so pick up your turbine and walk over to the nearest lamppost over here. And this is where only 2 players in the game have to place their turbines at 2 lanterns around the map. It doesn't matter which ones, just place them down like so at the same time, and that will complete the Easter egg. And you'll know when the orange balls start shooting towards the pylon, that is the Maxis Easter egg done and over. Good stuff. Now you can get off of this piece of dog shit and move on to Diarize. Starting off, the location of the NavCard table in Diarize is right underneath the Spire by the dragon, and you'll just come down here and build it in the back. And your first part is actually going to be the wood piece, which will always spawn here. The board, you pick it up, add it here. And the bright side about this is that a lot of these parts are in the same area. The radio is going to be back here. You'll pick that up, and you'll go and add it. And then the meteor is going to always be in this trash pile. You will pick it up and then go ahead and add it. And then just to follow you through this way, we're going to end up going to the other side really quick. and then it will be down here on the right. The electrical box will be down there in that corner. And then you add all those parts and you'll build the NavCard. Now, to start off the diorite run through, you're going to need 2 items. You're going to need the Trample steam and the Ballistic knife. But for right now, these parts will either spawn in a couple different locations. I guess airbag, the thing that propels you, this can either spawn here or it can spawn in here. And you can just pick these up and part switch them off of the ledge where the table is down below. The engine will always spawn either here on the front or it will spawn in that corner over there. And then the flag will always spawn either here or on the wall there. And then this, I guess, frame will always spawn either there or here. So all you gotta do is take these down and just part switch them down below. I mean, I'm kind of dumb and I fell through the map, so forgive me for using tools for this, but I don't know what else you want from me. By the way, I will have a link to all of these Plutonium mods in the description for these solo Easter eggs. And then you could do it yourself as well. You don't have to do a 4-person Easter egg like on Buried or Die Rise. So Die Rise and Buried are 4-player Easter eggs, but the only problem is that the servers aren't really populated anymore with people who want to do Easter eggs. So it makes sense, but I would download these mods and you can do them on your own. But once you part switch all the parts down here, you're going to want to take them to this table, just pick them all up. To get the ballistic knife, all you have to do is hit the box until it will pop up, and then grab
I
it.
really don't see what's appealing about this. That'll do it. Something short.
Now we're going to also move on to step 2, which is igniting all 4 symbols. Now, I'm going to slow down the video and show you where each of these are, but there's one here in this perk machine elevator. 1 gold symbol up here. It'll light up when all 4 players are standing on it simultaneously, or if you're like me and you have a mod, it will light up when you stand on it. The 2nd gold symbol, the one you saw me stand on earlier, is in this elevator shaft with the Bowie knife, and it'll be on the top of that elevator. 3rd and 4th elevator gold symbols are going to be in the quick revive elevator at the part right here, or it's going to be in this elevator on the left near, which will be Speed Cola, or it will be Who's Who. But this, we're going to lead on to step 3. And step 3 is another gold symbol matching step, but essentially around the map you're going to have these 4 gold circles on the ground. They're not going to be in the elevators. That's how you distinguish between them. And you're going to have to trial and error a 4-code sequence. And what I mean by that is you have to step on one of them, and that one's going to light up, and then if you step on another and it's not the right one, then the first one will turn off. And you have to turn it back on, and basically do this until you get the right order. So I will show you the first 4. This one is the first one, and as you can see, it didn't light up when I stepped on it. So let's go find the others. And the other one's going to be up here. The 2nd location is by Quick Revive, and as you can see, it didn't light up when I stepped on it, which is fine. The 3rd location, also, here's the SVU wall by. This is what you'll need in preparation for step 4. But the 3rd location for this gold symbol on the floor is here in this little storefront room. And you're going to step on it and see what I mean. It'll light up. That's the first symbol in the order. And you have to keep doing that trial and error until all 4 symbols are lit up around the map. Okay? And with that, we're going to go show you the 4th symbol. And the 4th symbol is going to be just up across the way. It's actually kind of funny because it's quite legitimately all the way down here, and it's on the roof in between the liquefier power bank area, and that's your symbol. So if you could see, if this were a 4-player game and I went on that symbol and it didn't light up, then the first one I lit up would turn off and I'd have to light all 4 of them up again. Alright, so that was step 3. Step 4 is going to be shooting the balls out of the mouths of the dragons with the SV. Pretty simple. You just aim there, shoot, and the balls would transport up to spawn. Now for step 5 of the Maxis Easter egg, what you're going to be wanting to do is going to the Buddha room, and you're going to fill up by killing zombies inside of the Buddha room. You're going to kill about 10 zombies. Maxis will speak to you once this is up, and he will essentially say, reincarnation is key. And that's how you know you need to move on to the next step.
Time to spread the joy.
Reincarnation will reveal its way forward.
Now, once you hear that, what you're going to want to do is take your ballistic knife that you've acquired through the box, and you're going to want to take it down and pack-a-punch it into the Kraus defibrillator. Once you have the upgraded ballistic knives, you're going to want to walk over to the Buddha room, and you're going to want to shoot anywhere on the ground until Maxis speaks. Now, once that step is done, you're going to want to take 4 trample steams, if you have 4 players, and you're going to want to place them on these lion symbols on the ground. I will show you the location of each of them. Once you place them, they will not be able to be picked up, and then you're going to fling the balls across the 4 planted trample steams. Now, here's the second location in the spawn. Here's the third location underneath the spawn, right by the 2 elevators in the NavCard location.
What happens? I dare
The fourth and final location is over by the 1 box location in the electric box spawn. And you can just place it down like so, and that's the 4th and final one. Now with that, you're going to want to pick up the balls and spawn one at a time and place them on the trample steams and fling them across. You will see them flinging across the map when you place them. This step can be a little finicky with the taglines, but once you find the place to place the balls, just place both of them in the same location, and then the tower should be struck with orange glowing lightning. Now, I'm going to explain this Mahjong step before I show you the location, so you essentially know what's going on. So, there's going to be 8 Mahjong tiles around the map, and essentially you're going to be matching up directions with numbers and making a 4-direction order in which you're going to input it into the Spire. So, the Spire will always have the north tile. The north tile will always spawn at the edge of the Spire. And essentially all of these directional tiles have colors associated with them. They might be the ones on the screen, they might not be. And these colors associate with the other Mahjong tiles that have numbers on them. And so if you see, say, in this picture, north is black, and the tile for 3 is also colored black. So that means that north is the 3rd direction hit. The same thing goes for the east tile. If the east tile is red and number 2, which is the 2nd position, is red, that means that east is hit 2nd. So this code on screen would be south, east, northwest, and you would input that into the tower. Now I'm going to show you what it is in my game. I'm going to go through all the locations really quick, and then I will input it into the Spire with the Galvaknuckles into the locations that it is in my game. Now, the first tile is always the north tile, and that will always spawn in the north of the Spire, and in my game north was red. And the second location of these tiles where they could be is on a couch in between the box and the elevator shaft, and that means that 1 is black. Whichever tile is black is 1. With this, you're also going to want to buy Galvaknuckles towards the end of the Easter egg. Please be sure to not glitch out the steps of the ballistic knife by buying them earlier. There's a 3rd location down here for the Mahjong tile step, a blue. That's blue is west. So in my game, blue is west. There's also another location in these corridors onside a shelf, and that means 3 is red, so north in my game is the 3rd one hit. There's another potential location on these shelves back here. There's another location on this table near power that's south in my game, so south is green. Another location is under these corridors, and that is east, so east is black, so east is first in my game. Another location is on these stairs down here, and that in my game was 2, and 2 is blue, so west is the second direction hit. And one of the final locations is on spawn, so that's green is 4, and 4 is south, so south is the last direction hit. My code is east, west, north, south. So you're going to input that into the tower like so, with that side being east, that side being west, this front face with the tile being north, and the back being south, cardinal directions. And there you go, the Die-Rise Easter egg is completed. Enjoy your rewards, you'll know when all perks pop up on your screen. There you go. Alright, so with buried, we're going to start off with the NavCard table. So a lot of the parts are behind that barrier over there. So what you're going to do is give Leroy some booze, and he's going to go run into that. And the radio will be right here, the board will be right here, and the electric box will be up here on the wall. And then another thing with Leroy that you'll have to get is the fountain open. And then once you get that open, you will be able to jump back to the spawn where the NavCard table build is.
You want the sweet stuff, don't you?
Once you get the fountain open, you just have to jump through here with your NavCard parts, and it'll transmit you over here, and this is where you build the NavCard table. Now every NavCard part is in the bottom of the map, aside from the meteor, which is right here by the lockers. And then you can insert your Die-Rise NavCard, it's accepted successfully, and there you go, you're good on that front. You will need Vulture-Aid, the Paralyzer,
Why do I suspect infinite
the Bowie knife or Galvaknuckles, and the time bomb.
It's a weird looking thing, all right. Maybe I should get Droopinger to try it out.
Step 1 is going to be building the Gallows. Part 1 is the antenna.
Even the smallest thing can be useful.
The Gallows location is outside the church. Part 2 is going to be the bulbs. Pick those up and add it at the Gallows.
Undead variety.
Part 3 is the battery in the church by Vulture-Aid.
Nice going, big guy. You smashed the shit out of that. I hope this is right.
Final part is the spool of wire inside of the gunsmith.
Sooner or later,
The Gallows are complete. Step 2, turn on the power.
maybe someone around here likes the sweet stuff. Oh, right.
Step 3, paralyze the orbs. The first orb being by the saloon. There will be a completion noise whenever you fully paralyze an orb. Orb 2 is by the mines, by the drop. Orb 3 is the left of church, right of Gallows in this little side area. The fourth orb is outside the witch mansion on the left. Step 4 is going to be grenading the floating blue lantern and picking it up.
Guessing no one else wants.
Fill up the lantern with Leroy kills by grabbing the
Hard to keep
candy
this
and
candy
just having him
handy.
run through zombies. Those noises will play when the souls are filling up.
Anyone see what's happening here?
Step 6 is going to be placing the lantern and deciphering the code. Think of the code as a numerical pad with letters in the place of the numbers. On screen you will see a guide, as well as the fact that in my game I had Dry Gulcher Shaft, Consumption Cross, and Ground Biter Pits. Pause if you need. Step 7 is going to be placing down a time bomb, and then knifing the correct signs that were on your Cipher, and following the Wisp to the Gallows. In this gameplay I am also showing all locations of the signs, as well as the ones that were on my Cipher. The Wisp will show up when you knife the last one, and it is powered by zombie kills. You must kill zombies to keep the Wisp powered up while it gets to the Gallows. I will play the full sequence here so you get an idea of the path the Wisp can take. Zombies that are powered by the Wisp will glow blue. You just have to kill them and that will power the Wisp. Once the Wisp gets close to the Gallows, hit the time bomb after it reaches. Once back, knife the correct signs again and follow the Wisp for a second time to the Gallows, making sure to keep it filled up with zombie souls. I will show this path again to really solidify where you might be able to take your Wisp.
I'm off on another treasure hunt.
The next step is ringing bells in the correct order from a switchboard in the witch's house. The lights are lined up in certain areas, Upper Candy being the first column of 3 lights, Barn being the second column of 3 lights, and Courthouse being the third column of 3 lights. And I will show you where all of these number of bells are. Yellow means to hit them next, green means to complete, and gray means you didn't hit them yet or you don't need to hit them yet. Bells 1 through 3 are in the upper part of the candy shop in these locations on screen. Bells 4 through 6 are inside of the barn, and these locations shown on screen. Bells 7 through 9 are shown in the courthouse on screen. Now, inside of a 4-player co-op game, one person would watch the board while the other 3 hit the correct bells in the locations. But inside of a solo match, you're going to have to go back and forth. But essentially, the lights on the board will light up, yellow with what you need to hit next, and green with what has been completed. And you just need to hit them in the locations as I've described already. You'll hear a completion noise when the bell is hit correctly, but you will hear a failure noise when the bell is not hit correctly. Basically, the bell is broken when it's not hit correctly. Once all bells are hit correctly, the board is off and unpressable. For this next step, I would recommend getting Leroy to pick up a crawler.
This is for you.
Step 12 is
Where's
making a
that
wish
giant dude
and
when you need
sharpshooter.
him?
Essentially, in the fountain, you hold F to make a wish, and these sharpshooter targets will pop up. To have all 4 players shoot each one of their targets in the 4 areas with 100% accuracy, meaning you cannot miss a target. You can miss it with, you can spray more than 1 bullet into it, but you have to hit all your targets.
What exactly did I do?
Should I be pleased?
Such glowing, place little.
Wow! Did you see what I did?
Now with that, we come to the discussion of the Maxis endgame starting now.
The process has begun. Now I control the ether's energy. I can at last reach Agatha. Ah, you fools! Why did you listen to him? Regretfully, I must inform you that neither the Earth nor its people will survive. Ah, I tried so hard to warn you. Oh, God! Once the gateway is open, I will finally be reunited with my dearest Samantha. Hello! Are
Are you forgetting something? Even if your wretched daughter is still alive, she has my body!
If you are so eager to re-enter the physical world, Victor, I will grant you that fish!
Now with that, we have come to the end of our discussion of the Maxis Super Easter Egg inside of the BO2 Victis maps. I appreciate you being with me through all of this as a journey, and I really, really, really wish you'd just leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub if you're really feeling like it. And I will be back with more BO2 guides, with Mob of the Dead and Origins coming next. I appreciate you all, I love you all, and this is NNZG. Peace and out.